Welcome to Greenkeepers, where we provide tips for small businesses. I'm Bryce Gill, Assistant Editor for Green Industry Pros, and here with me is the author of Amplify Your Business and founder and CEO of SquareStack, Bill Furlong. But before we jump into today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so that you are updated every time we post a new video. Hi, Bill. So diving into Chapter 9, the opening statement in Chapter 9 is, it's essential for you as a small business owner to have a web presence. What does the punch list consist of that you mentioned in the book?
Great. We all been talking about software, and it's really more about an internal set of processes. This is really about your brand, your company's outward visibility to your customers and prospects. So web presence doesn't just mean have a website. I mean, we certainly should have a website. And in some cases in this marketplace, you have a Facebook page or another social media page. Now that's great, but I think it's essential for every business to have a website. And so if you don't have one yet, there's so many much easier ways to do it now than say 5 or 10 years ago. There's companies like Wix and Squarespace where you could just go online, hire a student, your offspring, whoever, to just build a website. You build your site. You should also have all the social media pages up and running. And that includes Instagram, Facebook, not so much LinkedIn unless you're a B2B landscaper working with commercial businesses. Snapchat, less so. But again, the major social media presence, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram for sure. And then what we talked about in the last chapter, a newsletter or some sort of ongoing communication with your customer base and your prospects. Remember, you're the expert about their yards. They want education. They want thought leadership, meaning your customers. And so you have a great knowledge base to share that via newsletters and other ways, via social media. And then, I've seen some businesses actually start webinars in the day of Zoom where you're talking about lawn care. So again, this may not be what you want to do as the CEO and founder of your company, but you can hire people to do it for you and not for a lot of money. So again, you must have a digital presence. Still buy your ads in the local shoppers and newspapers if you think that has a return. And by the way, you should always ask people where they saw your ad so you can, guess what, collect data on the effectiveness of your marketing investment. But at the end of the day, even those newspapers have digital presences that you should leverage.
How does a web presence help encourage business growth? Like, there are some simple action steps to take mentioned in Chapter 9. So what are those steps and what is the significance of these steps?
35% of small businesses still don't have websites. And so, you owe it to yourself as a business owner to know how people find out about your company. Because if you don't, you really don't know the effectiveness of your marketing or lack thereof. So simple tips of, when people go into your Facebook account and look at your video or your message, you want them to sign up for a newsletter. So you get their email address and then you send out a monthly email newsletter to that growing body of prospects or customers. And for instance, we have a lawn care company in my suburb in Chicago who every year comes in, gives you an audit of what you need, and he sends you an email and you sign the contract and he collects all that money online. And then you get a newsletter every month from him about things you could do for your yard, what sort of fertilizers that you use in your garden. So we have a conversational relationship digitally with our vendor. So again, I think you need to understand where people are coming from in order to grow your business.
Yeah. For the tip of the day, you mentioned the 35% of small businesses not having a website, or at least that's according to Clutch.co, right? So how does that hurt them? Does Green Apps help or encourage a business owner to have a web presence, and how so?
Green Apps itself is first and foremost about you consolidating your half dozen to a dozen tools so you save time with not having to enter username and password every day or every time you go in. Two, it gives you this holistic view of all your data. Now, within Green Apps, we have what we call the app marketplace. So there's a category called web development. So if you click that on, you'll see all the different companies in software, SaaS software companies, that you could buy their service to build a website. So you could find out how to build a website through Green Apps. The point of the matter is a lot of consumers will search Google and search landscapers near me. And if you don't have a website or any web presence, your company won't come up on the list. And again, that's a whole nother chapter to the new book, but this is what's called search engine optimization. But if you don't have a website that's tracked by Google, you can't show up in the search when someone does landscapers near me. So it's almost the price of entry. If you want to be identifiable in the 5 to 10 listings on the first page of a Google search without actually having a website.
That's all the time we have for today's tip. Make sure to tune in next week where Bill and I dive into the dashboard of metrics and analytics. For more business tips and trends, be sure to visit the Green Industry Pros website by clicking the link below, where you can download a free copy of Bill's book, Amplify Your Business.